Well, Kris, we've been talking about doing this for a while, and I think it's finally time we're going to do it. We both actually have time. We're sitting here, so
Yep.
welcome everybody to the first episode of the Moving to Memphis podcast. Should we call it the Moving to Memphis podcast, or should we come up with a better name?
Let's call
Uh,
it Memphis's best podcast.
Memphis's best podcast. We'll put that. Put in the comments. What do you think we should call the podcast for the channel? Should it just be the Moving to Memphis podcast? Should it be? You said Memphis is best. Like
Yeah,
that's. I feel like this is hard to say. Am I saying
it's hard
Memphis
to say. Yeah,
is
I know
best
it.
or Memphis is best? Like I don't
Like
know.
Memphis's apostrophe best. No, that's not. I don't even know. My wife's an English teacher. I should know how to do that better, but I don't. So,
All right. Well, everybody, put your suggestions in the comments, and if we see a good one, we might just use it. So this is the first episode of the podcast, and we'll name it later on if we want to name it something else. But
yeah.
I wanted to do this, and we're just going to talk about some of our favorite stuff here in Memphis, maybe favorite places, events that happen, and whether you live here or you're looking to move to the Memphis area. Maybe this will be valuable to you and kind of get to know, not so much of just the real estate stuff and check out this area, that area, but just kind of what we like.
Yeah.
And as
Just
we go
living
on
in
with,
Memphis.
future episodes, maybe it's the Living in Memphis podcast.
Right.
Maybe that's
Yeah.
what it would be. I don't know, but whatever the case, the original Living in Memphis podcast. What do you think, Kris?
Yeah. I like the original. We might have to put that on our YouTube channel, right? Like the original
I, I
Living in
like.
Memphis YouTube
I, s- I
channel.
s- I saw a guy down in Houston that does similar stuff to what we do, and that's
Mhm.
what they put on there. So I like
Nice.
it. We're the OGs,
Yeah, we need to
OG
claim
Memphis.
it. Yeah, you got to claim it. Somebody else will. So.
So there we go. So I'll let you lead off, Kris. I've been talking a lot. So what's your favorite spots here around town?
Well, right now, it's July in Memphis. It's a rainy day today, which you kind of like that in July because it knocks those temperatures down. So we're in the summer months of Memphis right now, and my favorite things to do right now are I like the Memphis Redbirds game. The Redbirds game are cool. You'll sit on. I'll give you a tip. If you're coming to the Memphis Redbirds, you sit on the third base side. One reason is that you're behind the home team. You're behind the Redbirds, but you're also going to catch that afternoon shade because the sun sets in the west, which will be to your back on the third base line, and the building casts the shade over. So Memphis Redbirds are fun right now. Definitely sit on the third base line side. That's good to do. And I always like Overton Square. That's my wife and I's one of our favorite places to go. Our restaurants are there. You've got the candy and chocolate shop there. They've got nice a brewery there. Can't think of the name of it, obviously, but anyways, we like the Overton Square area for just for restaurants and maybe a night out.
This is where we need a producer that's going to go while we're doing the podcast. Is going
I'm
to
gonna
pull up
look it up.
what the
Yeah,
name of the.
Bosco's. It's Bosco's, and I don't know why that escaped me, but we like going to Bosco's and that testing out their beers. So that's a good thing to do. And then obviously we talk about this all the time, Jerry, but one of the best parts of Memphis is most definitely Shelby Farms. I mean, at this time of year, you got to get out there and see the sunsets and the walk around the lake. And hey, man, we tried something new there for the first time. They've got the Coastal Fish Company. Next time you're here,
Oh
Jared,
yeah.
we got to go there. I mean, if you're on a date, which I'm not taking you on a date, so forget about that. But somebody were to be taking a date out, then the Coastal Fish Company is an impressive spot, man. They've got
Coastal
great
Fish.
food. They've got great food. You're overlooking the large lake there at Shelby Farms, watching the sunset. It's a great spot, man. We went there
I'm
for the
down.
first time a couple months ago, and I've been back once since, and I plan on going many more times.
Oh, well, we've got a in person get together to do video in a couple weeks, so
Mhm.
maybe we'll have to get together and go try that out. That sounds good. I want to check it
It's
out.
really
Always
good.
like to see these new places.
Yeah, it's
Um,
cool.
I will tell you one of my favorite spots around that I don't feel like gets enough attention. At least I don't see people talking about it as much. Is obviously you've got the bridge where you can walk across to Arkansas across the river,
Right.
and I think a lot of people know about that aspect of it. The big river crossing that you've got there,
Right.
which is basically right on the south side of downtown, right there by the South Bluffs right there where your office is. You're right down close to all that. You can go right across there, which that's cool enough on its own.
Yeah.
And you've seen us do that in other videos. But I've also, if you like to ride or just run, or if you're going on a really long walk, you can go way over into West Memphis, and you can also there's trails that kind of run up parallel the river on the other side over there, on the Arkansas side of the river, and I'll put the picture up on the video if you're watching the video version of this. The You get this really cool view of Memphis kind of across the cornfields, and
Yeah.
you can kind of see, and it just like it's this weird kind because you've got the city and the skyline of all that, and then just like you're out in the rural country, and it's just boom right here next to each other. So it's just a really interesting view of Memphis that you get from that side. So it's definitely worth checking out if you want to go out and get you some exercise or just go and walk over there. Probably not in the middle of the day this time of year, but it's really cool early in the morning because you get like the sunrise coming up over Memphis over there. So it's pretty cool to check out. So
Yeah, that is cool. The big river crossing is really cool, right, Jared? I mean,
yeah.
even at night, they've got all the LED lights running on the
Oh yeah.
bridge. And even though it is the middle of July, I mean, obviously you're up that high, you're above the river, you're catching a really nice breeze
Oh
down,
yeah.
through there. So, I do
There's
like to
not a
do
ton of shade, but
Yeah.
but the breeze is okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's a cool spot. That's one of my favorites around. And then I mean, just the anywhere along the river there, you've got all these cool stuff. They're redoing that the Tom Lee Park there. Are they finished? Is it
I
hadn't been
think
since
they
they
picked
finished it?
up some more work on it. They did pause construction because we had Memphis in May there. So they had the music festival, which I think went over really well. The music festival was there. The World Championship barbecue contest was there. So I think both of them were big successes in the new Tom Lee Park. They're not quite finished with the repairs, but I don't know. If you were here a couple years ago and you come here now, it is unrecognizable. I mean, it is nice. All new landscaping and new structures there, pavilions. It's not as much space as it was before. You know, some of the landscaping and the pavilion and things like that has taken up quite a bit of space, but it is really nice. They were right, man. This is going to be one of the better riverfronts in the country. And I think they'll be finishing up with it pretty soon, but they're still working on it right now.
Yeah, but I like that all the way up to, and then up by Harbor Town too. That's probably that little stretch just to because you're just going right along the river. That one's a great one to check out at sunset if you're up that way.
Yeah.
Hanging out up there, it's pretty cool. You got the barges going by. You got the steamboat that I can't remember the name of the steamboat that parks over there, but you got that one that'll be over that way. Right there. I think you can. They do river. I don't know where they go, but
Yeah,
but
so that's in the headlines today with the Daily Memphian. They're talking about the riverboat cruises that are going up and down the Mississippi River, and they're obviously pretty busy because I see the charter buses out there picking people up, taking them around the city, and I guess they drop them back off and head back up or down river, whichever way they're going. But yeah, that seems to be a pretty big activity right now. So it looks cool. I haven't
you
done
know,
it yet.
if you're watching this on YouTube and you've been on one of those cruises, let us know in the comments where
Mhm.
have you gone and what did you think about that, and would it be worth checking out? You know,
Yeah.
I've thought about it. I've never really looked into it.
Mhm.
Um, you
So
know,
I've been
it's
on them before, Jared. We used to have the Memphis Queen was here, and it was an older boat, so I'm sure it's outdated now, and I'm sure it's nowhere near as nice as that one we see parked when you're in town.
uh-huh.
And it wasn't like an overnight trip. We just went upriver for I don't know 1 or 2 hours and come back down, and it's pretty cool. It's a unique viewpoint of the river and just how rural things are once you get either south or north of the Memphis area. So it's a unique experience. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe one day we'll have to check it out. I don't know. Would I want to spend my time doing that or go to the Caribbean? I don't know.
Right.
I might would rather go to the Caribbean and get down there, but we'll see. I don't know. Maybe people in the comments will agree or disagree, but um, those are just some cool spots. And the like you said, the parks all around town. It's hard to beat. Man, Memphis just has just some amazing parks, and
That's right there.
we're gonna pause for air conditioner break.
I got this really cool office, and it's amazing location, amazing spot, amazing area. The environment's great. Everything's great about it, except for the air conditioner is a turbine
The
jet engine. So when it kicks on, it kind of takes over the the mic there, so excuse me.
Oh well, that's all right. I was gonna say you got amazing this, amazing, an amazingly loud air conditioner that you've got.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly right.
But that's since you bring all that up, you've got these really cool old buildings down in Memphis where they've done like where your office is there,
Yeah, these
and
warehouse conversions are they're really cool, right, Jared? You've been in a couple of them now.
yeah, there've been a few of them there. So you've got like the condos there. The one you're in is really cool. You're right there overlooking the river. You've got a rooftop little area where you can relax. You've got the pool. You've got the little fitness place up there, and then you're just in this historic building, and you've got like the exposed walls and things. And
Like the brick line.
in the condos, you don't have the big, huge air conditioning units that are
Yeah.
drowning you out every time you try to talk. But yeah, you do have those down there. So I mean, they're just really cool spots, and so
Mhm.
really unique Memphis original stuff down there. So
There really is. I mean, there's a couple cool ones too. I'll name drop a few of them. Like the Nettleton is, I think the Nettleton is my favorite. They've got wood beams in that thing, Jared. I mean, they're 5 foot by 5 foot square. They've got these huge iron collars at the top that tie them in together. And with that old warehouse feel, industrial feel, they've come in there and put some of the best amenities you can find. Beautiful hardwood floors, granite countertops, backsplashes, high-end appliances. So I think the Nettleton might be my favorite. Where I'm at is the lofts at South Bluffs. It's cool. The best thing going on this one is I think is location, parking garage, and obviously the rooftop pool and the view of the river. That's one of the best views in Memphis, if you ask me. There's a new one that came. It's not new. It's been around for a while, but there were a couple sales in there. It's called the Candy Factory, and it's right down closer to Beale Street. Man, if you guys look that up, the Candy Factory in Memphis. It's warehouse condo conversions. Man, there were two that sold in there. They were really nice, like super cool. A lot of the exposed brick, like you're seeing behind me there, and then the wood beams and things. So tons of character, but yet all the modern amenities you need: gas cooking, uh, granite countertops, tile showers, all that cool stuff. Was that what?
what'd you say that it's called?
I think it's called the Candy Factory.
Candy Factory.
Sales there here recently, and man, they were attractive listings. We talk about how's the market. We were just doing a video on that, Jared. Those listings came up, and they were both sold in the same weekend. I believe slightly above list price. So that kind of tells you how unique and cool those condos are.
See, it looks like they've got like a venue and some other stuff there too.
Yeah,
It
there's
looks
that
like.
new place we need to get to, Jared. The Fancy's, is it Fancy's Fish House, maybe? Anyways, there's a
I don't know
new
where that's at.
Yeah, there's a new restaurant right by that Candy Factory warehouse that we're talking about, near Beale Street. I think it's one block over from Beale.
I don't know. We're gonna try to get into the Candy Factory in a future video. I'm not gonna promise that it'll happen, but that would be cool to check out because for what I'm looking at here online. So we'll see
Yeah,
if there's an opportunity to get in there.
yeah,
We'll
they're
try to
cool.
do
There's
that.
only a limited number of units in there. I don't think there's like in this building. There's quite a few units. I don't want to misquote the number. And then the Nettleton has a ton of units. So you've got the Nettleton, you've got the lofts at South Bluffs. Another cool one are the Paperworks downtown. They've got that same vibe, the exposed brick and wood beams and things like that. So I don't know. Those are three of my favorite warehouse conversions in the downtown area.
Yeah, so all those are cool. So that's I'm trying to think of anything else that I would point out that I just like this is like one of my favorite spots around town. But those that cool area downtown, from downtown to the South Bluffs with all that, the parks across the river, and then you can got the games you can go to. Obviously, you mentioned it at the park, but you've got the Memphis in May, which is really cool every year.
Yeah.
Um, which is you've got all the stuff that goes on there. So just ton. I mean that whole downtown area, and then over to, of course, to Shelby Farms. It's just great stuff about being in Memphis. So I thought of a question while we were talking about all that. Kris obviously mentioned the Overton Park there and the Midtown
Yeah.
area. I know you got a lot of history in the Midtown area. Right now you're not though. You're out of town a little bit. So I was curious to know. We've talked about this before, not on the podcast, but if you were going to move to an area in Memphis what would be where would you go? If you're coming into town right now, you're going to find, where would you move to?
So in the city limits, we're not talking about any of the suburbs, not Bartlett, Collierville, Germantown, any
I
of that
guess you
stuff.
could give me both. Give me one that would be in the city limits, and then if you were looking to be outside the suburbs too.
Man, that obviously that can vary wildly depending on your budget, right? Like if my budget was unlimited, I don't know, I'd probably be down here on the riverfront facing the river at South Bluffs. But I don't see my budget being 1.5 million anytime soon. Maybe next year after the YouTube channel blows, after this
Maybe.
podcast blows up. Yeah.
Right. We've got how many subscribers have we got now? If you haven't subscribed on the YouTube channel,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Yeah, help me get in that price point there where I want to be. Yeah. Man, that's a tough question, Jared, because there's tons of areas I like in the Memphis area. I love Central Gardens. So if I were moving to Midtown, I think I would try to get in that Central Gardens area. Beautiful homes. They're 100 plus years old. I don't know. I just love that structure, that style, and that location. I love East Memphis. The 38120 zip code out there by like Poplar, Mendenhall, Poplar, White Station. I love that area. You've got great restaurants there. Folks Folly Steakhouse is there, one of the best steakhouses in the Memphis area. So that's a hard question, man, because I'm favorable to a lot of different areas. But Midtown, East Memphis, downtown, I think one of those three would just be my choice. But that's not to exclude that I don't like some of the Cordova area. You've got some beautiful big homes in Cordova area in gated communities. So I like that area. I don't know. That's a tough question, man. But I think if I were choosing and I had a 500K budget, I would be somewhere around East Memphis, downtown, Central Gardens, and Midtown.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking as you were talking about that for my own answer to that question, and
I think I know your answer already.
well, what do you think my answer is?
Well, every time you're here, you're like, man, I think if I would just want to be in the South Bluffs. Like, I really like the South Bluffs. And I feel
I
the
like
same.
the South Bluffs. I do. My only hesitation, and this is the stuff that we don't typically talk about in the videos, just because it's I don't know why we don't get into it.
Well, it's personal. Yeah.
Maybe we have, but my only hesitation there is where I live now. I can go, I can drive right down, and within 2 minutes I can be at a Kroger,
Yeah.
or I can really easily get to a lot of places. And if I live in the South Bluffs, I mean, you've got that little spot there across the street now where you could get some basic essentials if you needed it.
Yeah.
It's really not like a full grocery store. You're gonna
No.
have to get in the car and drive probably 15 minutes or so to get to like a full grocery store.
Yeah.
I guess the one there in Midtown would probably be the closest.
Yeah.
So
I agree. That is a drawback of living in the downtown area. But those markets, they can get you by. They've got all the necessities that you
yeah,
need. And then this time of year, you've got the farmers market on South Main, so you can get all
well,
fresh
that's true.
fruit and vegetables like that. But yeah, I agree with you. You're kind of trading off big
I feel
shopping areas. There's no Target or anything like that
right. Yeah,
downtown. So
I guess I've been spoiled by suburbia. Like
yeah,
it's just so easy to go get all this stuff, and I feel like there's a little bit of isolation. Now the trade-off for that is it's just a beautiful neighborhood. I mean, you're right there close to maybe you're not close to all that stuff, but you're close to all the fun stuff to do downtown.
yeah,
So yeah, it's very appealing on that aspect. And I could say a lot of the same things about Harbor Town too, up that way, because you do have a little bit more, a little bit bigger little grocery store there. Again, not
yeah,
a full, you know, Walmart, Kroger, Target type of situation, but you've got a little small neighborhood grocery store there at the Cordelia's Market, I think it's called.
yeah. Cordelia's Market, I think, is the
So,
name of
and that's a pretty cool little spot too. They got a big wine selection too, if you're into that.
it.
But you got that. You got some cool restaurants there, and then you got the views of Harbor Town. But both of those, it's almost like you romanticize it a little bit. It'd be really cool to live there.
Yeah,
But then I don't think I would actually choose to live there if it was really coming down to it. Now, what if I just had, like, an unlimited budget and I could buy myself a condo just to go down when I wanted to go stay downtown? Yeah, I'd probably do that. But
Man, I'm on
um,
the brink of doing that. I promise you. Like I get down here, it's like I'm living separate lives, right? I come downtown and I love this vibe. I love being able to hop on the trolley and go to the Redbirds or the Grizzlies or the Rendezvous or walk over to Central Barbecue and like you said, everything that the riverfront has to offer, all the festivals and everything. So I love that aspect of it. But then I get home, which is just slightly north of Memphis, and we've all got 2 and 3 acre lots, and you sit there and you're hearing the birds tweet and there's no traffic. You can't hear anybody talking. And then when I'm there, I'm like, man, I love this. I love being here. So I don't know. It's like I'm Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde because I've got two lifestyles I'm living.
well, if I was looking realistically with a realistic budget, I do think that Midtown area there is probably, if I'm in the city limits, I like that probably the best.
Hmm.
Um, just because you still get a really cool vibe there, but you've also got your essentials close by, and you can get downtown to all that stuff.
Hmm.
Um, but even more than that, probably this will surprise you because I don't think, I guess I haven't really told you this. That area up there closer to the Atoka and Mumford area is a really cool spot. I really like that because you've got you're kind of out of town a little bit,
Okay.
but you get that little acreage areas or you get a little room to spread out.
Yeah.
And I tell my wife all the time, I'm like, I'm either like downtown or way out in the country. I
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
I really that's where I really would want to be, and we're kind of in the in between on that right now.
Yeah.
But
So that area you're talking about, Jared, now that's the Rosemark community. Is that what you're talking
yeah,
about?
yeah, I love that area out there.
Yeah.
That's right. That's the name of it.
Yeah, the Rosemark community is really nice. I mean, there's a little private school there that's excellent. There's a couple little local churches there that are excellent. You do get that space. That is still Shelby County. That's not the city though, so I wouldn't. That's not city living like
Well,
you said.
that's
Yeah,
why I said if I'm in the city, I'm probably in Midtown. But if
right.
I'm getting out of there in Eads area, that's nice over there too.
Mhm.
Where you can get out. But again, either one of those, I'm kind of getting probably getting out of budget a little bit to get what I want. So
Yeah.
I don't know. So we'll probably stick around close to where we are at least for a little while. That's
Yeah.
what I'm
What
thinking.
about these prices though, Jared? You remember when we started the channel about a year and a half ago? We kept referencing $300,000 houses, and you can get a really nice house for 280 for 300, and it's kind of not the case here a year and a half later, right? I mean, I think that price point it's kind of jumped by about 100,000 to be
What
honest with you.
what are the DR Horton homes there in like the Mumford? What are they at right now?
They're at like 310 to 340, right in
Uh
that
huh.
price range. So, I mean, I don't want to label them. I mean, they build a nice house, but I kind of think of it as like a starter home. Is that,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean
yeah.
that's what's I would think that's the general consistent or consensus
Mhm.
of how they're viewed. I mean, it's hard to look at in my mind a 300 plus thousand dollar house and think starter home,
Yeah,
um, but I mean that's what it is. That
that's
these
kind of what it
and
is. Yeah.
it's really hard. I mean, can you go places and find a house in the 150 range? Not a new one, obviously, but can you find those? Yeah, they're out there, but you're either going to be way out in the middle of nowhere, or it's a major fixer upper, or
Mhm.
there's a lot of crime wherever you are. I mean, there's some issue that's causing it to be that.
Yeah.
So it's so hard to find that. So if you want a place where you've got schools you're going to feel good about, amenities and parks, and
Mhm.
yeah, I mean that's what you're spending. I was looking to see what they were
It seems
down
like the
here.
full
That
system. But sorry, go ahead, Jared. Sorry.
I was going to say the ones down in Horn Lake. I was trying to see what they were, but they are around the 260 to 280. I'd say
Yeah. So that's north.
260 to 280. So in the north, that's North Mississippi. Um, you can look and you've got some new. That's probably the lowest end of the new construction that you can find. Not low end as in bad quality. I mean that's just the lowest price point
Right.
that you're gonna find it down there. So you've still got them at that price point, I guess, around the metro area, but it's few and far between for sure.
I think if you look and I mean, when you're thinking of home prices, you can kind of judge by the quality of the schools in that area. When we're trying to get close to these higher performing schools, whether it be a public school, one of the suburban schools, Arlington, Lakeland, Germantown, Carterville. I mean, I think if you're looking for a good school system, that kind of determines what that price point is going to be of that
Mm-hmm.
house. And 200, 150 is just, they're not in good school system areas right now. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
really got it seems like all the nice schools are carrying about a 350 price tag on the homes in the area, and that's minimal. Obviously they go up to much higher than that in some of the areas. Uh, So
And
I
if you're
don't know.
looking, go to like go to the one I always use is niche.com. So go there, look at the schools, find a school that's like A rated, and look at the map. It'll show you the map, obviously, of
Mhm.
where that school system is. And then go to realtor.com or one of these others and look at that school district and try to find a house under 200,000. It's hard.
Yeah, it's
It's
not.
it's hard to do.
It's just not there, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's I think we've covered a pretty good bit of subjects there. I don't know if you've got any other ideas for this podcast. This is the inaugural podcast here.
Yeah.
I don't think I mentioned it, but I'll throw out, if you're watching this channel, if you listen to the podcast, you're in Memphis, you're thinking about coming to Memphis, I'll put the number up on the screen. Y'all can hit us up and let us know. We'd love to help you out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's going to do it for this one. Let us know if you've got topics, questions, things we can cover in future podcast episodes. Maybe even guests. I'd be open to having a guest. If you know somebody who you think we should talk to,
Yeah.
let us know that
Might,
too. We might do it.
might be time to get a mortgage lender on one of these podcasts and nail him down with rates and the future of the market and see what their opinion is on it, because, they're a little closer tied into that rate situation and should be able to give a more concise answer than what we can do.
I think so. Or if you're local here, if you are a mortgage lender, if you're a builder, if you're maybe you think you got some insight, hit us up. Let us know. Reach out. If you want to be on a podcast, we might let you do it. So that's going to do it for this one then. Guess we can sign off here. Thank y'all for the watching, listening to wherever you are. The moving to Memphis, living to Memphis, whatever we decide to call it, podcast. If you're not on YouTube, make sure you rate us wherever you are. So as we try to grow this, and if you are on YouTube, obviously, you can hit that like button, leave us a comment, let us know what you thought of this one, and let us know what we need to talk about, because I want to do more of these. It's kind of fun to take we don't have just a design plan. This is what we're going to talk about, just kind of laid back. So if you do enjoy it, let us know. We'll keep doing it. So, all right, Kris, I think that'll do it this time. And I'll see you in a couple weeks. Maybe people let us know where we need to go shoot some videos. We're going to get out and get a new batch going for you on the channel.
Sounds good. See you then, Jared.
All right.